In today's lab, there are 5 different activities you should do. Today I am modeling activity number 2 and activity number 3. So when you're working through this lab, there will be other things that you need to do where you don't have hands-on. It's one of the parts you need to go watch a little video online, and another part you just need to do some book work. So what you'll use this video for is to teach you how to do activity 2 and activity 3. Hi, welcome to Science Lab Recordings with Mrs. Nielsen. Today we're working on Unit 4, Lesson 10. The materials you'll need some scissors, a ruler, a rolling pin, and some wax paper. That's optional, but kind of helps. And then of course you'll need modeling clay. You need at least 3 colors to be able to do this lab. So this lab we're talking about folding in rocks. So when scientists can't actually observe folding in rocks because it happens over such a large period of time. So what we do is today we're going to model this using some modeling clay and see what we can figure out for ourselves. So the first thing you want to do is get out a large lump of clay. Now the instructions tell us that you should make a rectangle. Mine's already kind of in a rectangle, but I'm going to rework it over it so it doesn't have so many lines. Your rectangle should be 10 centimeters long. That's why you have your ruler. This one's not quite 10 centimeters, so I'm going to make it longer. It doesn't have to be perfect though, that's just kind of to give you a guideline. So now it's about 10 centimeters. It should be about 6 centimeters wide. Let's see. It just basically needs to be a rectangle. If you don't have it perfect for the amount of centimeters it is, it's okay. So you have a rectangle here. There it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another color of clay. I'm going to put it on this wax paper, and I want to flatten it. Okay, so we're going to roll it out. I'm going to move that one away and put it away. We want it, see this right here, this is too thick. If you can see it, we want it about 5 millimeters thick. Well, which is pretty thick actually. But I'm going to go a little bit, spread this out just a little bit more so it has more surface area. You want it to be able to cover this rectangle on both ends. Okay, so I'm going to test it. If I lay it here, yeah, it can cover it and hang off a little. So you want to be able to have it cover your rectangle and then hang off of both edges just a little. Now I'm going to need to get another one of these. I'm actually going to want about 5 or 6 layers. So I'm going to, you can use the same color. Like if I used green again, that would be okay, as long as I didn't use both green on top of each other. So I'm going to get some different colors going on. Okay, so now I have my base rock right here, and I have a bunch of layers made. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my layers, put it over top of my base rock, and fold it down so it kind of is the same shape as the rock. Just fold down my edges. And if I have a lot of excess, then I'm going to trim it. On this one I don't have a lot of excess, so I don't need to trim it. And I'm going to do it with my next layer. Lay it over top of that first layer, and again shaping it, molding it to my original rock. This one I do kind of have a little bit of excess, so I'm going to use my ruler to kind of cut that away. And then I'm going to take another layer. This time I'm going yellow. Lay that over. Folding it down the shape of my base rock. And then I'm going green. Going green. It's always a good thing. Protect the planet. Putting it down over my base rock. And then one more layer, I'm going with the yellow. I am going to trim. My ruler has one side that has kind of a metal ridge and one side that's flat. I'm going to use my metal ridge side. And I kind of just trim it a little. Get through all those layers of clay. Oh, I do want to remind you that you have a lab in just a couple of days. That's Unit 4, Lesson 13. And you will need clay again for that lab. So make sure you don't throw away your clay or let it go get too dried out during this lab. You will want to save it after you use it. In the next lab, it won't really matter what color you have though. So if your colors get mixed up with this lab, it will be okay. Okay, so now that I have all my clay layers on top of my basic rock, I'm going to actually kind of peel them off so that I don't have it stuck on there. I'm going to push these together with my fingertips, with the outer edges of the layer. The outer edges. I'm going to push it together until it kind of folds. Okay, and then I'm going to make two cuts with my ruler. I'm going to make one vertical cut, and then I'm going to make one horizontal cut. So I'm going to make my vertical cut first. Just going to press down here, and then move it away. Oh, look how awesome. Can you see that? It looks like a rainbow. I'm going to set that over here, but then I'm going to make a horizontal cut, and I'm just going to press through it like this, right through the middle. I want to make sure that I'm getting some of my original rock in there. Ruler is not actually the easiest thing you could ever cut with. If you feel like your parents want to help you get out a knife to cut that, then that would be fine. I don't want anybody cutting themselves. Maybe holding it will help me cut it more easily. Pushing really hard. Let's see if scissors work. Wow, look at that. I'm using scissors to cut this horizontal cut because my clay is really thick. It's not as straight of a cut though as maybe it would have been. So now I have two different sides I can look at. And then your instructions tell you that you're going to want to take a look at both ways. You're going to want to look at what it looks like on the horizontal cut and look at what it looks like on the vertical cut. You'll want to draw a picture right here in your book. See the blank spot? You'll want to draw a picture of what the folds look like on each face of your block. So you'll draw two pictures. Okay, so I don't want you to think you're done with the lab now. This is just one part of the lab. There are other parts of the lab. So make sure that you go on and do the next part. The next part, you'll actually model some faults. Okay, now we're still working on Unit 4, Lesson 10. This time we're going to model some different faults. So you're going to need a piece of styrofoam block. I got this from the section of the store that floral things are in, just from Walmart. and I made 3 lines on it so you can see my layers. And then I'm not quite done with this. What I actually need to do is I need to cut this in a diagonal way. Now, it would be easy to slip and hurt yourself. You probably want to have a parent help you cut this so that you don't have any problems. Okay, so now I cut my block into 2, and I cut it diagonally. So you can see right here. And what I'm going to do, so this one that's on my right, your left, the one that's on my right is block A, and the one that's on my left is block B. So I'm going to model 3 different types of faults. So the 3 different types of faults we're talking about today. The first one is called a reverse fault. And a reverse fault happens when pressure or the force is moving like toward. And when that happens, when you see the direction of force coming from each end, what you'll see happen is you'll see this slide up. So what it wants me to do, it says, the directions say, place the 2 blocks together face to face. This right here is the fault line. Okay, that's what it's representing. So it says slowly push the 2 pieces together so that block A moves upward. Block A is actually my left, your right, sorry. So what you'll do is you'll take this, you'll push them together, and you'll see that this one will slide up. When this kind of fault happens, this is what the ground would look like. You can see the different layers and how it moves. Then your directions ask you to answer some questions about that. So you'll want to make sure you answer those questions. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate the normal fault. The last one was the reverse fault. This is the normal fault. So the normal fault, what you'll do is when 2 pulling forces happen, then the direction of force is kind of pulling away from each other, and your blocks will move kind of opposite of what they did last time. That's why last time was called reverse and this one's normal. So you'll demonstrate that and then make sure you answer the questions that your lab asks you. On the next page, you'll see that we're also going to demonstrate the strike slip fault. And when this happens, you've got your rock and the forces actually pull it away from each other, so it slides sideways. So you have like this and you're sliding it sideways. And then once you demonstrate this and look at the difference in your layers of rock, then what you'll do is you'll answer the questions on the lab. Okay, and that's how you do this section of the lab.